My boss fired me in front of 140 people. Someone laughed, someone filmed. And in that moment, they thought my career was over. They were wrong. My boss said I was too emotional for leadership, then waved security like I was a spilled drink. That day, I walked out of that building with nothing. Today, I badge into the same building, step into the same elevator, and everyone stands. Not because I'm loud, because I'm the woman who owns their paychecks. Let me tell you how that happened. I joined Archer and Hale Logistics with a resume that made recruiters smile. Top of my class, 2 internships, a capstone project on cutting freight costs. I was ready to prove myself. The office smelled like ambition. Glass walls, expensive coffee, men who used bro in meetings and sweetheart to the receptionist. But very quickly, I realized I wasn't taken seriously there. My first day, my manager Graham Cole shook my hand like he'd borrowed it.
So you're Maya. Smart kid, huh? We'll start you on admin and let the guys handle the heavy analysis. You'll learn by listening.
The guys were Kyle and Derek, who called me kiddo, even though we were the same age. Same role, same level, but somehow not the same treatment. I smiled, took the pile of admin, and did the heavy analysis anyway. At night, when nobody was there to remind me where my chair belonged. 2 months in, we landed the Rutherford account. High stakes, high freight volume, hemorrhaging cash. The company was struggling, and this was a big opportunity. I built a model that rerouted loads, negotiated new carrier lanes, and forecast delays by weather and port congestion. In simple terms, I found a way to fix the problem and save the company money. It saved 7 figures. I put my name on the deck, the data, the logic. For the first time, I wanted my work to be seen. In the meeting, Graham presented my slides.
As you can see from my model, we'll cut 14% in the first quarter.
My model!
He didn't look at me. Kyle winked as if we shared a joke. Derek texted under the table.
And I sat there, watching my work being taken.
I told myself it didn't matter whose mouth spoke my math. Results would carve my initials eventually. They didn't, at least not yet. Sexism at Archer and Hale wasn't a scandal, just a temperature.
Smile more, Maya.
Tone. Watch your tone.
Great idea. Derek, can you rephrase it?
Every time I spoke, someone else got the credit.
Let the men handle negotiations. You jump to the numbers too fast. Clients need warm-up.
Or they need solutions.
This is a relationship business. Don't be so intense.
Every time I swallowed that word, it left a bruise. Still, I had wins. I was doing the work, even if no one admitted it. A small manufacturer wrote an email to the CEO praising the woman analyst with the sharp eyes. For a moment, I thought things might change. Graham forwarded it with a comment. Team effort, but let's make sure Maya stays focused on deliverables, not visibility. Visibility, right. They fired me on a Wednesday, right as we were getting ready for the Q3 review. It didn't happen suddenly. It had been building for weeks. I'd warned for weeks that Archer and Hale was taking a big risk with fuel costs. If prices changed suddenly, the company would start losing money. I built scenarios. I begged for hedges. Graham rolled his eyes.
Risk is for cowards. We'll ride the momentum.
Fuel prices spiked on Monday, and by Wednesday, our forecast was a mess. During the all hands, Graham flipped through the deck until he reached the slide that exposed everything.
This shortfall traces back to faulty modeling from the supply analytics team. Maya, stand up. Explain why your model missed a basic volatility move.
This was my moment to speak the truth. My model didn't miss it. It didn't fail. I warned you. You ignored it. Slide 27 of my Maydeck recommended a hedge of $2.08. Slide 31 warned about exposure if...
Enough. You're emotional and defensive. This is exactly why you're not leadership material. I'm done tolerating this. Maya Sharma's employment is terminated. Security will escort you.
And just like that, everything ended. A few gasps, one laugh, Kyle's. Someone's phone tilted, recording. The guard touched my elbow like I might bolt. I didn't. I picked up my notebook, looked at the numbers I knew were right, and walked out. In the lobby, I finally let my hands shake. I did the 2 things people do after being humiliated. I cried in my car, then I called my mother.
Good. You're done building palaces for men who won't give you a key.
For the first time, I didn't know what to do next. Later that night, I opened my laptop, stared at LinkedIn, and felt the weight of what next even means. I applied everywhere, no replies. My savings started running out. Days blurred into nights. Rejection emails stopped hurting because they stopped coming. And for the first time, I wondered if they were right about me. Maybe I was too much, too emotional, too intense. Maybe I didn't belong in that world at all. Then my phone buzzed. It was someone connected to the client I had worked so hard to help.
Is this Maya?
This is Priya from Rutherford. You were the one behind that solution, weren't you? We need to talk. Coffee tomorrow?
Coffee turned into a meeting room in a co-working space that Priya paid for with her card before I could argue.
That meeting didn't make sense. You were thinking ahead, but your boss was stuck in the past. The model was yours, wasn't it?
I told her the truth. She didn't blink.
Don't look for another job. Build something. Not a job, something bigger. I'll be your first client. Not a job, a contract. Build what you wanted to build, and I'll pay you for it.
I'll also introduce you to 2 more CFOs who hate wasting money.
For the first time since I was fired, I felt hope.
Okay.
Good. Name it.
Northbridge Analytics. Because all I've ever done is build bridges no one sees.
Then let's make them visible.
I started my LLC from my kitchen table, working alone in a borrowed conference room. I was CEO, analyst, sales, and IT. But for the first time, my work depended only on me. But the work was clean. No politics, just results. I rebuilt the Rutherford model from scratch. This time, I wasn't working for someone else. I was doing it for my own company. After my board call, the chair asked, "How soon can you start?" That's when it became real. My first real client. I was building everything from scratch. I upgraded my setup, hired Lila, and worked late with purpose. Rutherford hit their savings target in Q1. Not pressure, not fear, but growth. Every step forward felt earned. The plan worked. Priya's email said it all. Told you so. Introductions followed, models were built, costs were cut, and Northbridge grew. My small idea that was becoming a real company. Slowly, everything started changing. Meanwhile, Archer and Hale did what arrogant companies do. They pretended I had never mattered. But ignoring me didn't fix their problems. You can't ignore math forever. Fuel prices stayed high, and the company started losing money. Their bad decisions were finally catching up to them. But you can't ignore math forever. Fuel stayed high. Contracts they'd signed undercut margins. Clients whispered about delays, missed SLAS, boys club arrogance. A headline popped up in my news feed. Archer and Hale misses guidance, board exploring options. Options. I knew what that meant. That meant one thing. The company was in trouble.
You're thinking it, aren't you?
Buying them, we're not big enough.
But we're smart enough, and they're desperate.
She was right.
Let's price the stupidity discount.
It sounded crazy, but it was possible. We sketched a plan with dry erase markers and too much coffee. Find an investor, fix the company's problems, and take control. A turnaround play if we could get in the room. First, we needed a chance. Priya got us in the room.
Board meets Thursday. 2 seats hate Graham. 1 seat hates losing.
I put on my only suit that still felt like armor and walked into a boardroom that used to look down at me. Now they looked at my numbers.
You don't have a revenue problem. You have a cost discipline problem and a culture that buries risk because the wrong men fear being wrong. Here's our offer. Northbridge and our partners will inject capital, assume the bad debt at a discount, and take 51%. We'll guarantee retention for good staff, cut the dead wood, and rebuild the forecasting engine.
You're a startup.
We're a profitable one. Ask Rutherford.
The board members exchanged looks. They already knew something was wrong inside the company. The real question wasn't the numbers. It was the leadership.
What happens to Graham?
He can interview like everyone else.
This time, I wasn't the one being judged. He was.
Silence. Then the chair leaned back, like relief could finally sit down. Closing the deal was chaos. Term sheets, lawyers talking in legal code, and late-night calls where Lila kept warning, "Don't blink," whenever a banker pushed too hard. We chose Helix Capital, a fund that trusted data, not sentiment. Their checks confirmed everything: risk, arrogance, decay. 2 months after the meeting that changed everything, I signed the papers. Northbridge Analytics, with Helix Capital, took control of Archer and Hale. I slept 4 hours, woke before sunrise, and put on the outfit that made me feel steady and strong.
Walking back into that lobby was surreal. The receptionist who once called me sweetie stood up.
Miss Sharma? Good morning. I'm here to see the team. People stared like they were seeing a rumor turn into a person. Graham's office door was closed. The blinds were tilted, as if privacy were an accessory. I knocked, and then opened it myself.
Maya, you can't just...
I can, and I will. Northbridge and Helix now control 51%. Effective today, Archer and Hale reports to me. He laughed. Short, mean, reflexive.
This is a joke.
It isn't.
I handed him a letter. Termination with cause pending the outcome of an internal review with the option to resign immediately. His face did colors I'd never seen on a human.
You don't understand how this place works.
I understand exactly how it worked. That's why it failed.
You'll run it into the ground.
Maybe you should have let me handle the heavy analysis.
He didn't sign then. He asked for time. He got the legal amount and no more.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maya Sharma, founder of Northbridge Analytics. As of this morning, our firm and our partners hold a controlling stake here. We're keeping the talent, we're ending the arrogance. If you're good at your job, you're safe. If you built your reputation by stepping on other people, start updating your resume. We're rebuilding this company on merit, not volume.
A pause, then something I didn't expect. Applause. Tentative at first, then real. Kyle raised his hand, of all things.
What happens to our processes?
We start using them.
The rebuild hurt, the way good surgery does. We cut 3 bad contracts, hedged fuel, and replaced old power with real forecasting. I promoted 2 women who'd been carrying departments without titles and rehired the receptionist, once fired for not smiling enough, turning reception into an actual function. We set one rule: ideas wear no name tags until data says yes. Graham tried to start a quiet war. Rumors about my inexperience, a whispered claim I'd gotten lucky, a call to a client he assumed preferred the old ways. The client sent me the voicemail and signed a longer contract. On his last day, Graham appeared in my doorway.
You'll regret this.
Probably some parts, not this part. He stared at me, maybe searching for the kid he'd told to smile more. She wasn't there.
We built this place.
Then you know where the rot was. He left without slamming the door. I sat a long time after, listening to the hum of a company relearning how to work. Months later, Archer North finally had a clean quarter. We celebrated the success by leaving at 6 and calling our moms. One afternoon, a young analyst knocked on my door. She stood like I used to, smart, careful, already waiting for impact.
Can I ask something dangerous?
The best kind.
How did you not break?
I thought about the all hands, the guard's hand on my elbow, the people who laughed to keep their jobs, the woman CFO who said, "Start." I did break. Then I used the pieces. She nodded, the kind of nod that means someone put one of your bricks into their own foundation. People love the dramatic ending. The moment I walk back in, swipe my badge, and everyone watches, the old boss standing there, no longer in control, the room finally reacting. But that's not the real story. The truth is quieter and better. It lit Northbridge. It pushed me to start something of my own. It lit the deal. It gave me the chance to take everything back. It lit every late night where I chose building over burning, every step. I chose to move forward instead of giving up. Now, when I walk past the spot where security once waited, the same place I was once thrown out from, the guard nods and says,
"Morning, Miss Sharma."
I nod back.
Good morning.
2 simple words that are mine. They told me I was too emotional for leadership. They thought it was my weakness. Turns out I was exactly emotional enough to change how we lead. That's what made me stronger, not weaker. They tried to make me small. They tried to push me aside. So I took control of my work, my future, and my place. So I bought the company. So I bought the room.